which there was unanimity between the Republicans and the Democrats, was on their policy on Pakistan, and the sense that Pakistan was a failing state where things were going out of control, that Pakistan was playing a double game, and that the policy of drones needed to be reinforced, that there would be more drone attacks because both the parties believe that this is the only way to tackle high-value targets in Pakistan.
Firstly, I mean, one of the reasons why Pakistan is failing is because of this war on terror. It's caused chaos in Pakistan. It's increased extremism in Pakistan. There's more polarization in Pakistan today. There are more radicals. There's more anti-Americanism in Pakistan. So that has had a direct impact on the law and order situation. The police, which should be defending us, is actually defending itself from the militants, and especially in the KP and Balochistan areas. So, and secondly, of course, it was the American imposed Asif Zardari who came in through an American broker deal called the NRO. That's why he's the president. Otherwise, there were so many corruption cases against him. So these two reasons are the reasons why we are failing. Your answer that they are agreed on the fact that Pakistan is a failing state, and that the drone attacks is some sort of an answer. It is absolutely it's doing the opposite. Drone attacks, according to the Stanford University Law School's research, they've only taken out 2% out of the people killed. Only 2% are high-value targets. 98% are innocent civilians or low-level militants who don't matter, are quickly replaced. But the amount of anti-Americanism caused by the drone attacks actually goes and helps the militants. So it's a failed policy. It hasn't produced any results. They're not winning the war because of it.
But one of the reasons why Pakistan, sir, is seen by the international world as a failing state is because voices from Pakistan are not condemning actions or attacks on innocents within Pakistan. I want to take the case of what happened with young Malala. Now here's a case of a dastardly attack on a young girl who had the courage to speak out, and no one, not even yourself, if I may permitted to say so, actually came out and condemned what the Taliban did.
This is just absolute fabrication. It's just pure lies. I mean, I went to see Malala 48 hours after she was shot. I did a press conference. I took the name of TTP and condemned them for that attack. Where has this come from? No one condemned it. Across the board, people in Pakistan condemned this Malala attack. In fact, never has the Taliban been condemned so much as because of Malala's attack. It was condemned. Everyone condemned it.
But not just internationally. The charge in Pakistan also is that Imran Khan does not take on the Taliban, that he's scared of the Taliban, that at some level he needs Taliban support to come to power in Pakistan.
This is another joke. And now, first of all, is Imran Khan supposed to pick up a gun and charge against the Taliban? What am I supposed to do? I mean,
but you can raise your voice against the actions.
I can, and as I said, just look at the press conference. It's on CD, it was on television. I was the only leader who went to see Malala immediately and condemned the Taliban in a press conference. This idea that somehow condemning the Taliban, that Imran Khan condemns the Taliban so they'll stop attacking. I mean, are we trying to fool ourselves? There's a reason for this militancy. Unless you go to the root cause of this militancy, this is going to go on and on. In fact, it's getting worse. Condemnation is not going to finish this militancy.
How would you deal with the Taliban?
We have been condemning militancy and terrorist attacks for 8 years. You just have to go on a website. It's not going to solve any issues. Now, how do you win the war? And my party is the only party that has been giving a solution for 8 years. And for that reason, we've been called pro-Taliban. Because we do not think there is any military solution. So we have given an alternate solution. It does not mean we are pro-Taliban. It means we are the only party that understands the issue and has given a solution. So what is the solution? Number one, disengage from the US war. As long as we are fighting, it's perceived by people in the tribal areas we are fighting the American war. They have declared jihad on Pakistan security forces. As long as there's jihad, there will be people willing to blow themselves up, suicide bombers. There will be people always being, the militants will be able to recruit people to do these suicide attacks, which cause the maximum
But the
damage.
Taliban has been there in
No,
Afghanistan and the border areas long before the Americans came in, sir.
this is not true. This is just a myth. There were no militant Taliban in Pakistan. So look, until 2000, in fact, the Taliban lost power in Afghanistan in 2001. We never heard of a name, the TTP, the Pakistani Taliban, till 2006. With 2004, we started the operations. 2 years of collateral damage created Pakistani Taliban. Had we not sent our army in, we might not have had any Taliban in Pakistan. But let me get what is the solution? Number one, disengage from the war so that narrative of jihad is taken away from the militants. Number two, mobilize the people of the tribal areas. The moment it is no longer jihad, the tribal people, they are about 900,000 to a million armed men in the tribal areas. There are only about 20,000 militants. Let them go and reclaim their land. The only reason they don't do it right now is they will not fight a mujahid. They're conservative people. So the narrative of jihad disappears, the tribal people will reclaim the land and they'll win the war. The Pakistan army is not going to win the war. The people in the tribal areas will win the war. And if then military is needed, number three, to help the tribal people to reclaim their land, that's the only time you use military. This is the three-point agenda. And I challenge anyone that there is no other solution. My party is the only party that has been consistently saying this. No one has a solution apart from a military solution, which has failed. Not
No,
just
but
in
the
Pakistan,
Americans
in
going
Afghanistan.
away does not mean that the Taliban will disappear. They've now taken root. They occupy certain parts of the bordering areas of Pakistan and Afghanistan. Do you just think that they'll give up their Kalashnikovs and disappear into the mountains?
Look, uh, first of all, let's just make a difference between what's happening in Afghanistan, what's happening in Pakistan. In Afghanistan, there's a history. They have opposed every invader since Alexander downwards. They have opposed everyone. So in Afghanistan, peace will only come, hopefully, if the Americans withdraw from there. And before the withdrawal, they have formed some sort of a government of consensus by involving everyone, getting stakeholders down. Not easy, but it's the only way there'll be some semblance of peace. In Pakistan, it's a different issue. Our problem is that because we joined the US and we are perceived, Pakistan army is perceived as a mercenary army of the US, taking money to fight their war, they've declared jihad on us. So as I said again, take the narrative of jihad away from the militants, mobilize the people of tribal areas. They are the biggest stakeholders in peace. The people of the tribal areas have been devastated by this war. As I said, the reason why they don't take on the militants is because they don't take on a mujahid. So get the narrative of jihad. I know the tribal areas. I'm the only one who's been there. I've written a book on it 20 years ago called The Warrior Race. You give them the responsibility, they'll clear the tribal
Your
areas.
solution to the Taliban problem is that America must go away, the rest will take care of itself.
No,
The
I
other
have
issue,
two solutions. Pakistan, I have one solution for Pakistan, which is to disengage. And solution in Afghanistan is eventually the US leaving.
the other issue, sir, on which you're accused of being ambivalent, is when it comes to the other terrorists, the ones that suit Pakistan's larger purpose. For example, on Hafiz Saeed, we've never really come out and seen you say that Pakistan must arrest Hafiz Saeed despite all the evidence that's laid out in Pakistan.
Is Imran Khan going to decide, who should go to jail and who shouldn't go to
But
jail?
shouldn't you condemn the acts of a terrorist?
I have condemned. Everyone in Pakistan has condemned the Mumbai attacks.
And yet
But how
Hafiz Saeed roams free.
So-
There is no will in Pakistan for the man to be arrested.
Look, remember one thing. There's a court, there's a judiciary. Pakistan has a Supreme Court. The people of Pakistan trust our judiciary. Let the judiciary decide who's a terrorist and who's not.
The investigation needs to be done by the government, and that is how the proof gets collected, which leads to ultimately a conviction in court. We're not seeing the will to take on the likes of Hafiz
But
Saeed.
let's get this right now. Is Imran Khan going to say, because India has blamed Hafiz Saeed, then Imran says, because India has said that, put him in jail. Am I supposed to be a judge,
Do you
jury,
think
and
he's a
executioner?
terrorist? Let me ask you a direct question, sir.
How do I know? Who's a terrorist? Let the courts decide. Listen, remember one thing. Even though the due process of law is slow, it is the only way a government gets moral authority. If we do what the Americans did with Osama bin Laden, which is they executed him,